Stop scrolling. Have you ever wondered why we constantly see headlines about lottery winners going completely bankrupt just 3 to 5 years after hitting the jackpot? Or why the heirs to massive historic family fortunes somehow manage to lose absolutely everything? It happens so often that society treats it like a curse. But it isn't a curse. It is a predictable, deeply ingrained psychological trap. Today, we are going to unpack exactly why sudden windfalls vanish overnight. We are going to explore a psychological pitfall called the monopoly money phenomenon, and I'm going to give you the exact blueprint to ensure that if you ever experience a financial windfall, you keep it for generations. I am the Wealth Guardian, and the mission of this channel is to protect your wealth through education. We bridge the gap between complex legal jargon and practical, real-world asset protection. If you want to keep what you have built, hit that subscribe button, because what I share here is the difference between leaving a lasting legacy and leaving an absolute mess. Before we go any further, an important reminder: everything in this video is strictly for educational purposes. Nothing here constitutes legal or financial advice tailored to your personal situation. Always consult a qualified professional for your specific circumstances. Let us start with a story. A man and his new bride travel to Las Vegas to get married. They have very little money. In fact, after a small chapel service and a cheap buffet dinner, the groom reaches into his pocket and pulls out the very last $5 bill to his name. Feeling lucky, he tucks his wife into bed and heads down to the casino floor. He places his $5 on a roulette table, and he wins. He leaves it there and wins again. Over the course of the evening, through an unbelievable, almost impossible streak of luck, he grows that $5 into $10 million. Just before sunrise, exhausted, sleep-deprived, and exhilarated, he places the entire $10 million on red. The ball spins, bounces, and lands on black. He loses everything in a single moment. He makes his way back to his hotel room just as his bride is waking up. She smiles and asks him how he did. He shrugs and says, "Not bad. I broke even." I love this story because it perfectly illustrates the core reason people lose sudden wealth. It highlights a concept behavioral economists call mental accounting. Our Vegas gambler was not playing with a full deck psychologically. You and I would never be so cavalier with $10 million we worked 40 years to save. But to him, it was not $10 million. In his mind, it was just $5. This is the monopoly money phenomenon. It is our human tendency to treat money entirely differently depending on its source. Logically, we know a dollar is a dollar. A dollar you earn from a grueling day at work has the exact same purchasing power as a dollar you find on the street, win in a lottery, or receive from an inheritance or a lawsuit settlement. But emotionally, we do not treat them the same. We put intense value and gravitas on earned money. Unanticipated, unearned, or found money feels like play money. It feels like monopoly money. And because it feels less real, it burns a massive hole in your pocket. People who come into sudden wealth are naturally inclined to take wildly inappropriate risks with it, give it away much more freely, and spend it faster and more lavishly than they ever would with their own hard-earned savings. You see, most of us experience what we call gradual wealth. It is the accumulation of money over months, years, and decades. Gradual wealth is like a smooth escalator ride. As your wealth slowly grows, you develop the skills and the emotional maturity to handle it. You upgrade your tax software, you eventually hire an accountant, you consult an attorney for an estate plan. You grow with your money. Sudden wealth, on the other hand, is a rocket ship straight to the top in a matter of seconds. You do not have the time to adapt. Your circumstances change overnight, and you are thrust into a foreign land where you do not know the rules, the language, or the customs. You are suddenly forced to make immediate financial, legal, and tax decisions that can have permanent consequences, and this does not just happen to lottery winners. It happens to heirs of incredible fortunes. Look at the Vanderbilt legacy. Cornelius Vanderbilt established one of the greatest fortunes in American history through shipping and railroads. His heirs inherited vast, unimaginable resources. But within just a few generations, most of that wealth was completely gone. Extravagant lifestyles, reckless spending, family infighting, and a complete failure to understand the responsibility of wealth eroded the fortune. By the early 20th century, some of his descendants died nearly penniless. The family failed to pass down the financial stewardship required to maintain that wealth. They treated it like a bottomless pit of monopoly money. The Vanderbilt story is a textbook illustration of how a lack of financial structure, rather than a lack of capital, destroys wealth. Cornelius Vanderbilt had built an empire, but his descendants did not install the proper legal architecture, such as sophisticated trust funds or dynastic family foundations, that would have insulated the principal from their personal whims and spending habits. Instead, they took the cash and proceeded to spend it on monumental, non-income producing assets. They built 10 colossal mansions on Fifth Avenue in New York, each requiring a permanent staff and immense maintenance costs. They threw legendary, theme-based balls that cost millions in today's dollars. They confused capital with income and spent the principal until there was nothing left to generate interest. This is the critical difference. Earned wealth comes with the operational knowledge of how it was made. Inherited wealth often comes without the instruction manual for how to keep it. This failure to convert liquid capital into a self-sustaining structure is what sends heirs into the poverty cycle as quickly as any lottery winner. When you receive a windfall, you are pushed entirely out of your financial comfort zone. We all have a financial comfort zone, an emotional home where we feel secure and understand the rules. Sudden wealth shoves you into a radically different socioeconomic neighborhood. You might suddenly feel a real or perceived social isolation from your old friends and family. You feel intense pressure to help others. To cope with this crippling anxiety, many people engage in what psychologists call sudden wealth regression. In a desperate attempt to get back to the way things were, to feel normal and accepted again, people will consciously or unconsciously sabotage their new wealth. They give too much of it away, they make terrible investments in their friends' businesses, or they spend it recklessly just to return to their familiar, lower stress comfort zone. The pressure here is enormous and insidious. It starts with the perception that you owe everyone a share simply because you were the lucky recipient. You'll be barraged by 3 kinds of requests. The family/friend ask. This is the request from your best friend to fund their risky startup idea or your relative who needs a down payment for a house. These requests are emotionally loaded, and saying no feels like a personal betrayal. The investment pitch, sophisticated, often unregistered. Brokers will approach you with surefire investment opportunities, private equity deals, land speculation, or exotic funds that are often too complex, illiquid, and risky for a novice wealth manager. The philanthropic pull. You'll receive an unprecedented volume of charity requests, which are difficult to turn down because they appeal to your desire to do good with the money. While giving is noble, giving away large sums haphazardly without a structured plan compromises your own financial security. Sudden wealth regression is often driven by the psychological burden of being viewed as an endless resource. People try to bleed the money down to a level that feels familiar and manageable again, essentially buying back their anonymity and peace of mind by depleting their new fortune. The key is to manage the anxiety and pressure without destroying the asset. So, how do you prevent this? How do you ensure that a windfall becomes a multi-generational legacy rather than a stressful, fleeting memory? First, you must become hyper-aware of your own mental accounting. You have to consciously force yourself to place the exact same weight on sudden wealth as you would on money you earn through blood, sweat, and tears. One powerful exercise I have my clients do is to calculate exactly how many hours they would have had to work at their normal job to earn their windfall. For some, it would take hundreds of years. The next time you are tempted to make a lavish, impulsive purchase, like a luxury car or a massive boat, calculate how many hours of your life it would take to earn that item. Would you still buy it if you had to trade 5 years of your physical labor for it? Probably not. You must strip away the illusion that this is funny money. You must ground it in reality. This exercise, which we call the labor equivalent test, serves a vital purpose. It forces a cognitive shift from emotional spending to rational valuation. When you mentally transform a $100,000 sports car into 5 years of your life working a demanding job, the car loses its monopoly money sparkle. Additionally, you must implement a cooling-off purchase limit. Establish a rule, right now, that any single purchase above, say, $1,000 or $5,000 requires a mandatory 30-day waiting period. This period is not for deliberation, but for emotional de-escalation. Most impulse purchases related to sudden wealth are driven by adrenaline and the desire for immediate lifestyle validation. By the time the 30 days are up, the emotional fervor has subsided, and you can apply the labor equivalent test with a clear head, often resulting in the decision not to buy the item at all. Second, you must slow down. When you receive sudden wealth, your brain is flooded with emotion and adrenaline. You enter a honeymoon phase where you feel like you can buy anything and solve everyone's problems. But abundance is the enemy of appreciation. If you buy everything you want in the first 6 months, you will quickly find yourself feeling empty, bored, and financially depleted. You must stop making major financial decisions while you are in this heightened emotional state. Do not quit your job immediately. Do not buy a mansion the next day. Park the money in a safe, liquid account and give yourself time to breathe. When you are finally ready to plan, you apply the 4% rule. You do not look at your massive lump sum as a checking account to pull from whenever you want. You treat it as an engine that produces a paycheck. A generally accepted rule in wealth management is that you can withdraw roughly 4% of your diversified investment portfolio each year to live on, adjusted for inflation, without draining the principal. So, if you receive a $5 million windfall after taxes, your actual spending limit is $200,000 a year. You never touch the golden goose, you only live off the eggs it lays. The 4% rule is your primary defense against capital destruction. It is based on decades of financial modeling, most famously the Trinity study, which demonstrated that a diversified portfolio sustaining a 4% inflation-adjusted withdrawal rate historically has a very high chance of lasting 30 years or more. To make this work, however, you must first ensure your principal is safe and diversified. Safety doesn't mean hiding it under a mattress, it means placing it in a well-balanced portfolio that includes broad market index funds, high-quality bonds, and other non-correlated assets. The goal is capital preservation, not aggressive growth. For a sudden wealth recipient, the focus shifts from accumulating money to strategically defending it. This means prioritizing investments that generate steady income and withstand market volatility, ensuring that 4% withdrawal remains a sustainable strategy for life. Remember, aggressive speculation is exactly the type of monopoly money behavior you are trying to escape. Third, you absolutely cannot do this alone. The moment you come into sudden wealth, you become a target. Everyone from long-lost relatives and charities to sophisticated fraudsters will come knocking. You need to build a fortress around you. You must assemble an advisory triad consisting of a certified public accountant, an estate planning attorney, and a fiduciary financial planner. Your financial planner should act as your quarterback, coordinating your tax strategy, your asset protection, and your investments. Each member of this triad has a unique and critical role that goes far beyond general advice in a sudden wealth scenario. The certified public accountant, CPA, your CPA handles the immediate, life-altering tax implications. Sudden wealth, whether through a lottery or asset sale, often triggers complex federal and state taxes, including gift taxes if you decide to share your fortune immediately. They are essential for structuring your wealth to minimize taxes legally and for setting up quarterly estimated tax payments, which are easily overlooked by new millionaires. The estate planning attorney, this attorney's role is to ensure your legacy. They establish complex trusts, such as irrevocable trusts or dynasty trusts, which are far more robust than a simple will. These structures protect your wealth from future creditors, lawsuits, and the frivolous spending of subsequent generations, thereby creating the multi-generational legacy you desire. The fiduciary financial planner. The key word here is fiduciary, meaning they are legally and ethically required to act in your best financial interest, not their own. They are the gatekeepers. They build the defensive investment portfolio, manage the 4% withdrawal rate, and most importantly, they act as the filter between you and every predatory pitch that comes your way. And importantly, having this team allows them to act as the bad guy. When your brother-in-law asks for a $500,000 loan for a risky restaurant idea, you do not have to feel the guilt of saying no. You simply say, I have placed all my assets under the control of my advisory team, and their strict policy does not allow for private business loans. You create a structural system that protects you from yourself and from those who would drain your resources. Sudden wealth does not have to be a curse. It can be the ultimate tool to buy you freedom, time, and the ability to leave a profound, positive impact on the world. But it requires discipline, education, and the willingness to treat your windfall with the profound respect it demands. Stop treating it like monopoly money, and start treating it like the multi-generational legacy it is meant to be. If you found this information valuable and you are committed to protecting your financial future, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Have you ever experienced the monopoly money phenomenon, even with something as small as a tax refund or a holiday bonus? Let's get a real conversation started. Thank you for watching. I am the Wealth Guardian, and I will see you in the next video.